ये अपना संजीवन है।
Hi friends, today we are going to understand a poem, a photograph by Shirley Troulson. Initially, let's know something about some introductory part about the poetess Shirley Troulson. Shirley Troulson, who lives in Somerset, was drawn into the spell of Celtic Christianity as she worked on her books dealing with the oldest roads and folklore of Britain and Ireland, and found herself following the routes taken on their journeys by the saints of the early church. Among her writings are a Celtic alternative in 1987 and the Celtic year in 1993. Poetess Shirley Towson was born on 20th May 1924 in England. A writer-editor came under influence of Celtic Christianity. Towson in poem Photograph describes the emotion felt as she remembered the story behind the image and what it means to the poetess. Poetess Shirley Towson, a British poetess, not very prolific in sense of her creative work, literary work, not known, very widely known. She's not so much widely known poetess. She's influenced strongly by Celtic Christianity, British and Irish folklore, and saints of the early church. So, with the help of these points, we understood something about the poetess. Dear students, let's have the introduction about the poem Photograph. The poet remembers her mother who died about 12 years ago. There is a photograph taken when her mother had gone for a sea holiday with her cousins and her uncle. Looking at photograph, she experienced the great loss of her mother. The poem basically talks about how death can silence you and leave you speechless. The poem A Photograph is written by Shirley Towson. In this poem, she recalls her mother and her memories while looking at a childhood photograph when her mother was 12 years old or so. She has been deceased 12 years ago and she cannot explain her grief on her mother's loss. Now let's turn towards the poem. Let me allow you to read aloud the different stanzas, various stanzas, one by one, and allow me to explain the stanzas. What's the meaning? What are the expressions? What are the feelings in the poem expressed by the poetess? So let's turn towards the first stanza. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she, the big girl, some 12 or so. Mother had gone to a sea holiday, and with her, two girls were there. The photograph, it's an old-fashioned photograph. It was pasted on the hard cardboard. It shows how the photographs were created or pasted on the hard cardboard, and there were two girls with her, and they were paddling, they were playing on the that's a seashore in the sand, and they were enjoying the holidays. They were in a happy mood, and they were in a very good mentality, and they were leading happy moments. In these lines, the poet is looking at an old photo album which is made of a cardboard. In the picture, there are three girls who are walking on the beach holding each other's hands. Total three girls were there, and poetess mother, she was the eldest one, nearly of some 12 years or so. And the girl in the middle, she is the tallest and oldest. That's poetess mother. The standing in middle, she is the oldest. Her age near about 12 years, and she is poet's mother. The girl in the middle is tallest. She is the tallest and oldest. The other two girls on each side are younger than her. The other two girls, they are the younger than her. The girl in the middle is poet's mother, and she is around 12 years old when the picture was taken. So they had been at the seashore for enjoying their sea holidays, and they were roaming and staying and wandering on the beach. So they were enjoying their happy moments there. They were very relaxed. They were very they had a lot of pleasure in playing together there at the in the seashore with the sand, with the sea water. So they were playing, and they were enjoying a lot there. In this first stanza, two girls are referred here. Actually, they are very junior, they are very younger to poet's mother, and they are her cousins, girl cousins, and they were paddling. Paddling means they were walking around the sea beach, and they were playing with the sand and with the water. So, saddling means actually that's walking down the beach. And you know very well cardboard, how the previous hard cardboard were utilized to paste photographs on it. So that's the old fashioned style of preserving the photographs, old photographs. And you know very well, photographs allow us to remember our old memories, to to revive the old experiences. So always photograph have a special identity in one's life, and they take us in our past. So photograph always matter of the old memories and old experiences and old happy moments, leisure moments, relax experiences. So everyone are very closely associated with the photograph, and in human life, a photograph has its own place, because we can revive old memories. So here in first stanza, that how poetess she was feeling about her when she saw the photograph of her mother. So she revived, she remembered a lot of memories, a lot of sweet golden memories about her mother. Now let's turn towards the second stanza. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face. My mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transit feet. Transit feet. Total, I think four people are there, because uncle is also there. Uncle is also referred here. So he was with camera, and he was taking photos of those three girls. And the most sweet face, that's of mother only, and she had very sweet face, fresh and energetic, and a shiny face. My mother's, means a poetess mother's face was a very sweet face. All the three girls, they stood still, and they were continuously smiling through their hair also. So the hair were loose and frank hair they had been. Then they were very happy, and continuously keeping smile over their face. So it it refer that they're enjoying the light moments, and they're very happy, and they were in pleasurable mood, very free mood. And that was before I was born. And poetess mother was still unmarried, and it was before poetess birth. So she was just, I think, 12 and around. So she was unmarried in those days. And the sea, and in front of them sea was there, which appears to have changed less, because there were very less changes with the sea. sea is a natural aspect, and we find very less changes with these natural aspects or the part of our nature. But when we look towards the human being, we okay face changes, because as the age progress, as the years move ahead, so we face a lot of changes. We experience a lot of drastic changes with us. As the age grows, the face changes, and we often lot of variety of experiences. So this doesn't happen with natural okay resources, natural aspects. They continuously they stay as it is. Not much changes we can find, we can experience. But on the other part, when we look towards the life of a human being, there we find a lot of drastic changes in course of a time, in due course of our okay life or age. So which appears to have changeless. Sea has changed very less, but on the other hand, over the years, mother okay changed a lot, and she okay got married. She had her wars, sons and daughters. Then she had to lead her life with her family, and then she had to look after her family, and then middle age, and then old age. So these different sections of life, these different stages in life, she had to okay move forward. So there, every human being has to face these changes, and every human being has to move through these stages, different stages. So while moving or stepping into different stages, we okay collect, or we go through a lot of experience. So changes occur in human life, and life changes as per the stages in continue. It's a continuous process, and so it is mentioned here. In second stanza, in the above lines, the poet describes how photograph was taken. Her mother's uncle took the photograph and told them to stop and pause. So uncle was with them, elderly figure, the guiding figure was with them, and he was telling them how to give poses and where to stop, and what should be the background. Sea should be background, and how they should move around, or how they should stand and give pose, and how where they should stop. So all these instructions were coming from their uncle, who was with camera and who was taking their happy photographs. All three of them left their wet hair open, so their hair were uh, wet, and they were open, and smiled at a camera, and they were smiling at the camera. The poet's attention is drawn towards his mother's face, which is described as a sweet face. So poetess is drawing our attention towards her mother's face. She was standing in the center, in the middle, and she had the sweetest face. The photograph was taken long before poet was born. So photograph was taken long back, before his birth also, before he was born. The poet calls their feet terrible transit, as they were so young by then, and now they had grown older. On the other hand, the sea which touched their feet has a changeless. Now let's turn towards the third stanza of the poem. Some 20-30 years later, she had laughed at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she had a say, and look how they dressed as for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter, both awry with the labored ease of a loss. In the third stanza, after 20-30 years later, when the poetess was born, and she was somewhat grown up, and poetess mother was old, she was in her old age or middle age. After 20, 30 years later, she would laugh at the photograph. When she used to look, see that photograph, old photograph, so she used to laugh. She used to smile after looking that old photograph. She would tell me to look at her cousins, Betty and Dolly, and how their parents would dress all three of them for the beach. So she used to tell to the poetess that he should look towards her girl cousins. Their names were Betty and Dolly, and she used to say, look towards how they were dressed up for the sea beach trip or a sea journey. The sea holiday was her past, mine is laughter. So the sea holiday was her past. It was her past. It was her old days. It was her happy old memories. But for a poetess, it was a laughter. Even mine is her laughter. So he was poetess was okay, looking towards her smile, looking towards her laughter. Those were okay happy moments in their old days, but at present, so it was moments of a laugh and a smile to the poetess, both vary with the labored ease of a loss. See, they would have the planned to take a photograph forehand. So, because they were dressed in a nice way and they were well prepared, so it indicated that it was well planned. It was her past and mine, her laughter, both very with the labored ease of a loss. It's so ironic, it's a mocking one, it's a expression. Really, it's a ironic one. And in this way, we can see that uh, the trip, sea trip was well planned because they appear in well dress, in good preparation. They had appeared there, so it it refer that the sea trip was nicely planned, well planned, and with them, their uncle was there with the camera, and he was taking their very nice photos at the seashore. The poet recalls the sea holiday was her mother's favorite moment from the past. For poetess, mother's that sea holiday, it was very important for her favorite moment from her past, while poet's favorite moment from the past was her mother's laughter, and for poetess, her laughter, her smile, so that was very important. So that was her favorite moment. So here contradiction we can find. For mother, sea holiday, the actual sea holiday was her favorite moment and happy moment, and for the poetess, uh, m- her mother's laughter, her smile, that is very important for poetess. So while the poetess' favorite moment from the past was her mother's laughter, both the women would think about those past memories which they cannot live again. And both mother and poetess, whenever they used to see, look those photographs, so they would like to think about those past memories. They used to remember those happy moments, happy memories which they cannot live again. So the back days cannot be live again, so cannot be revived again. Old experiences, old memories cannot be revived. Only we can remember, but we can't live those days and those memories, those experiences. So that's the okay life we can call it, and we can remember old days, but we can't revive, we can't live those old days again. So this everyone has to okay bear in mind that we can't revert the old experiences, old days. Only we can remember those memories. So both the women would think about those past memories which they cannot live again. So they are aware of the fact that they can't live those happy moments again. they tried their best to adjust to what they lost. So they are trying, they are cooling down themselves. They are trying their level best to adjust what they lost. So they are trying their level best to adjust with the present days and the present the mode of life, and they are trying to adjust themselves. They are trying to cope up themselves with the difference or the contrast in old days and the present days. In present days, poetess mother, she was in middle age, near about 50 to 55 or 60, and whenever they look back, they used to remain happy, and they used to revive their golden moments, happy moments in the past, which they had enjoyed a lot during their childhood.